evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Canada Valley Board of Education regular meeting, Monday, August 7th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to hear from our administrators first off.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Sarah Scott. She already has it. Okay, go ahead.
I, Sarah Northrop Lynch, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Board of Education member for the West Canada Valley Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Mr. Ray, would you like to go first?
Sure.
So I don't have a lot this month. Summer transportation for the elementary ends this week. High school, summer school, and special needs will go through the end of next week. The bus runs are almost complete. We're just waiting on both to get back with us on their placement so I can finalize where they're going. We're all set on pre-K. It looks like right now we're going to be utilizing 6 buses, taking them home, and we're going to need 7 car seats. Anybody under 4 years old will have to be in a car seat until they turn 4. So we have, I think the latest one is just before Thanksgiving. DOT inspections were here on July 11th. No defects reported. Our 3 large buses are changing the design of the facility, so they're going to be a new production run starting in September. They're looking at, again, like February or March for delivery. Our small bus, they're talking that we possibly are going to have that back in fall delivery, so maybe late October. So that's some pretty big news for that too. So hopefully the big buses will get back where we can start doing summer delivery. Any questions?
So, Mr. Ray, just so we clarify going forward here, the car seats, so all of our pre-K students have to turn 4 by December 1st. So once they turn 4, they're okay. They're in regular seats at that point. So each year, that piece of it is just from September until December 1st at the latest. This year, I think our latest one, like you said, is like November. Now, as we go down the road, and I think on the current order of the buses too as well, we're in our order as the option, they have the seats for that now. So as you start to transition next year, you'll have 3 buses with seats in them.
4, counting the small.
Oh, counting the small ones. You'll have 4 buses, then the following year you'll have 8. We're just ordering that option of the need for the car seats.
Yeah. The other thing with that too, you might hear some other districts putting their younger kids in car seats, even after they're over 4. Because if you're putting a kid in a vehicle that's not designed to meet federal bus standards, then they're required to be in a car seat until 7 years old. Just like you would in your own car. So if you see a Suburban or a van, they're transporting. So if you're talking to other people in other districts, that's the difference.
Oh, but we don't transport with whatever, right?
No, we don't have any. So all we have is a driver car.
Do they need to have a monitor put them into it? Or?
They don't. So there's not a lot of regulations as far as transporting pre-K, unless we want to adopt regulations for ourselves. With that being said, right now I have a monitor on every single bus, with the ones that are going to have the car seats. I have 1 bus that won't have a monitor. They're only going to have 1 student on that bus, and that 1 student's going to get dropped off at a Calder sack. So it's not like there's a high risk.
So would the bus driver still check that they were harnessed in, correct, or?
The monitor will take care of buckling the child into the car seat.
With the one that doesn't have the monitor?
That's not required to have a car seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the same way, they're not required to have a seatbelt. That would be something, if we wanted to adopt that as a board, required to put them in a seatbelt.
What's your recommendation?
There is no recommendation from the State Education Department, so I wouldn't recommend that you do anything, because if something was to happen and they ever deemed that the seatbelt was the reason why a child was injured, then you're liable. So from that point of view, I wouldn't. We could make the recommendation that the parents request that we put them in.
Would the parent be able to step on the bus and buckle them?
they're not
If they
supposed,
ask.
so we're only sending them home, we're not bringing them in. So
Oh,
it'd have to
that's
be,
right.
the teacher would
Okay.
have to step on, there again,
Right, yeah,
we would be
okay.
taking liability of that. The only thing I would suggest is that if the parents wanted their child to buckle, and the parent should suggest that to the child, and we could teach the child how to buckle, which we do anyways, we show the kids all how to do sequence.
Okay,
Alright,
thank you.
any other questions?
Mr. Doherty?
Questions?
I don't have much for you as far as scheduling goes. Like I said, that was all taken care of before for the fall and winter sports. We should be all set with all that. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard about Mr. Russo leaving at this point. That's a big blow for us. Not only is that your PE, it's your health, it's your supervisor in the fitness center at night, lifeguard instructor, so you won't have that class available to you now this fall anymore. Modified football, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, and he was also our modified baseball coach. So there's a lot of holes that are going to need to be filled for his replacement. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I had already updated you on all the schedules, the tournaments, those things are all set and ready to roll for you. Right now, just kind of delivering the items as they come in, all the purchases to all the coaches, updating the banners, we got all those ready to go. As soon as we get back in the high school gym on the floor, we can hang those back up for basketball season, we should be good to go there. Fall coaching binders, coaching certifications, just trying to get everything buttoned up for all the people for the fall coaching, double checking officials, and getting bus times for Mr. Ray. But does anybody have any questions?
I just want to take, this will be, obviously, I think Mr. Doherty's last meeting, unless I keep him hanging here, so I just want to thank you for all your work in that.
Yes, thank you.
And,
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sort of, look forward to working in with science.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Mr. Broadbent?
So there hasn't been much really going on since the last board meeting. Working on schedules, which is just normal. And a few adjustments that we're looking at due to a couple resignations. But we're working with that right now, but we're getting close to having the schedules completed. We have orientation for the 7th and 8th graders and a new student on the 29th. Here we'll play kickball at 5. We'll do a presentation auditorium for the 7th graders. We'll hand out Chromebooks and let them see their lockers and mess around with those and meet their teachers on that night. So get them in here, get them comfortable with school before the first day. It also alleviates congestion in the morning of the first day because of all the kids trying to get their Chromebooks. Summer school, as Mr. Ray mentioned, finishes up next week. The 17th is the last day of regents for the summer school kids. And last month they went on a regional leaders retreat, training, really good training. One of our attorneys there gave us legal updates on different things happening. We received training on lead evaluation, as well as a number of other trainings, talking about science investigations that are changing for the 7th and 8th graders, and what we have to do for that. So it was a really good TV for those days. Any questions?
Thanks.
Can you give us an update, unless I missed it, on your vacancies at this point in time?
Yeah, so I have Mr. Days, who's resigned. He took position as assistant principal. Mr. Russo called me on Friday, let me know that he had taken a position in St. Johnsville. Currently, we have a maternity leave in fall, which I'm going to appoint somebody tonight for that. So that's covered.
Teacher assistant as well, right? So,
Yeah, yes, we're still looking for a teacher assistant. I had 2 applicants. We ended up proposing one for a 1-to-1 aide in elementary, and the other one has not come back. Called her twice. So right now, it's still posted, still looking for that, and Mr. Russo's job was posted today. No applicants for the music position for this organization. It's been, honestly, about a week and a half, 2 weeks since that's been posted. We'll keep looking. Mr. Mr. Van Patten, I spoke to him, he said he would cover Mr. Jesus for a while, as long as, we'll find anybody. We're not in horrible shape, but, that's much of it.
That we have him, he's already a substitute.
Yeah, he's already a substitute, so it'll be easy transition, he's, familiar with the kids, familiar with the program, so, well.
Thanks. Okay, Mr. Shepherdson is going to update us on the elementary.
So as everybody knows, Mr. Spike has settled in as our interim elementary principal at this point. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he'll be here in September, and get rolling with us there. He did submit a report for his first couple of months. I just want to kind of review that with you and answer any questions you have, and I'll talk a little bit about our overall enrollment right now, and then I'll have, when we have our August 28th meeting, I'll have some updates just before school in terms of what our enrollment is at the end of August. So our summer program's been really successful. We've been transporting kids. Mr. Felix has been, Mr. Ray's been great at getting kids to different places. There's a whole bunch of different things between the special ed programs, outside placements, our programs that we have here, the extended day programs, and a whole bunch of different things we've got going on. It's not just plug and go. It takes some time, so I appreciate that. But with that being said, what his work and the work of planning for this coming up into the summer has led to great participation. We've got 44 students participating this summer in just grades 1 through 5 in the academic classes in the morning. We have 22 students in 2 different STEM classes from grades 4 through 7. We have 6 students participating in our tutoring program as part of the summer session, and 23 students in the extended day, which was new this year. The participation's been great. The extended day program, which is really focused on self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationships, and decision-making, I think it's been great for the kids to have some interaction instead of just being home. So those programs have been great. I'll speak, on behalf of myself with this. These would be programs going forward that I'll really look at and evaluate the structure, because I think they're valuable. We are paying for a lot of these under federal money at this point, which we talked about is going in a different direction. But there are some things that are out there in terms of grants and things like that that could help support at least some of this stuff going forward. So, when you do these things, you don't know how the success is going to be. It just seems very positive in terms of that. We've certainly got some structural things we'd like to tweak a little bit moving forward, but all in all, participation has been consistent and pretty strong. So I think it is something that people want and need. So just wanted to say that. And everything's been great. Mr. Spike's been great getting us started, and I've been working together. We'll switch after tonight. This is the last week of summer school. It ends this week. From there, we'll start our switch over here and get things ready and start rolling toward the start of the school year and making sure all the schedules and all the planning and the conference days and start the year are all set. So everything's going well with that. Any questions on the elementary? We're still at 40 students in UPK. That's the same number we've had. We are in the mid-30s in kindergarten right now. But it's still early August, so my guess is we'll be high 30s in there coming up in kindergarten. But I'll have all the enrollment, the official enrollment as they register. I would have given it to you tonight, but this next 3 weeks are when this really rolls, so you'll see it'll be a big change between there. So you'll have a lot of transfers in and out right before school starts here. So that August 28th meeting, I'll have a pretty accurate number of where we are and all the grade levels from K-12 or pre-K-12 now. Any questions on that piece? So I wanted to report just a little bit at this point myself. I wanted to talk just a little bit about our searches that are going on. Obviously, not into specifics at this point in time, but I do want to make everybody aware of just the different things so you can kind of put everything into a bubble here and what we're doing here. The district is in the middle of discussing the process of transition for the superintendency. The plan is to hire an interim superintendent at some point here, which is under discussion with the board members here, to fill in by October 1st and start then, and then fill in until a new superintendent can be identified and appointed. The posting is out for the superintendency. The survey was out, the participation, I don't have the final numbers on the participation in the survey, but I know it was pretty significant in the beginning at least. So I think you were up into the 60s in terms of response early on, so I don't know where that is now. So all the board members will get those responses and get an opportunity to review the input of people in the community. The Dropbox is open for the application process, so I'll be talking with the board about how they can view those applications as they come in. The screening will get started with our district superintendent, Mrs. Sherwood. She'll start screening some of those candidates for the board, and as that process moves forward, we have a whole bunch of dates scheduled moving up with Mrs. Sherwood visiting the board to discuss those applicants as they come in. I believe it is posted at least through September, I think, in terms of application process. Pretty thorough in terms of the application process, so it takes applicants some time to put all that material together to have a completed application. So all of that is well underway at this point in time. And I think the goal, as we discussed in here, is to have somebody in place, hopefully by January 1st, depending on everything goes well. The board's also involved, and myself involved in the elementary principal search. As we said, we have an interim principal right now. We are in the process of going through and screening applications. We'll be talking a little bit more as a group about that and the application process in that piece. Hopefully moving forward, and again, we're hoping to have somebody in place, sometime in the fall, but again, no later than hopefully January 1st as well, with those kinds of searches as well. Our special programs, or our special education directors, we're in the process of looking through some of those candidates. Again, the board will be discussing some of the candidates that are involved in this process as well, because that's continuing to be ongoing. Our athletic director piece is continuing to be ongoing. We have some discussions with that we're still doing, and as you'll see tonight, we'll also have some discussions about the confidential secretary and the district clerk, who's also on our personnel list tonight. So there's a lot of things going on here at this point in time, but I want to let everybody know it's watching out there that it's here. All this stuff is high priority for everybody in the room, and everybody in here is going to work hard to get that transition. So that's what I have. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions on any of that? A motion to approve the consent agenda? Sarah first. Janine second, all in favor.
Question. I assume we're looking for a West Canadian director
Yes,
and a musical assistant?
yes,
Yes.
yes, we're going to need both of those, Jeff.
And the other one was Mrs. Holmes was assigned a position. She's not here. And we voted on it. That is. Acting superintendent, Clint Holmes.
No, that was, I think we put that.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Broadbent, yeah, I think we changed that.
That was just a
Was it
mistake in
taken?
minutes.
Yeah, I believe so.
It might be just a mistake in the minutes, we're gonna have to make a correction to that.
Yeah, I think it-
That night we appointed Mr. Bogdan, as the acting superintendent, in case it happens.
I know, right?
But it is fun.
Okay. Any more questions? A motion to enter executive session for the appointment of personnel matters, including review and appointment of employees and contract negotiations. Sarah first, Janine second, all in favor. with the action items. First off, personnel report. Motion to accept the resignation of Rachel Wazaleski, elementary teacher, effective August 31st, 2023. Elisa first, Sarah second, all in favor. Motion to approve the resignation of Andy DeJesus, vocal classroom 7 through 12, effective August 31st, 2023. Janine first. Ed second, all in favor. Motion to approve the resignation of Karen Sheets, confidential secretary to superintendent district clerk for the purpose of retirement effective November 24th, 2023.
Nope, we're not.
Sorry, can't reach out here.
With regret, please.
Pete first, Janine second, all in favor. A motion to approve the resignation of Benjamin Russo, health and physical education teacher, effective August 31st, 2023. Ed first, Sarah second, all in favor.
Is that Mr. Russo, did you say?
Yes.
With regret. Big regret.
A motion to rescind the appointment of Benjamin Russo as the head coach of modified football. Sarah first, Janine second, all in favor. Okay. Motion to appoint Ashley Fee, one-on-one aide for the negotiated hourly rate of the CSEA bargaining agreement effective September 1st, 2023. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Tracy Taylor, bus driver, for the negotiated hourly rate of the CSEA bargaining agreement effective September 1st, 2023. Ed first, Janine second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Ron Wheelock, interim superintendent, effective October 1st, 2023. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor. Okay, athletics, the motion to appoint Jamie Farrington, assistant coach, modified football, step 1 of the extracurricular index of the WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. Elisa first, Janine second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Corey Youngs, coach, boys JV soccer, step 5 of the extracurricular index of the WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. At first, Janine second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Sarah Mayville, coach, boys modified soccer, step 1 of the extracurricular WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Greta Edwards, coach, girls varsity soccer, step 1 of the extracurricular index of the WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. Elisa first, Sarah second, all in favor. A motion to appoint Amy Dahmer, coach, girls modified soccer, step 5 of the extracurricular index of the WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. Ed first, Elisa second, all in favor.
With reservation, big reservation.
I think we should discuss that again.
Pardon me?
I think we should discuss that again.
Can't discuss
Yeah,
it right now.
personnel not in open
We could
session,
just
yeah.
discuss it.
Yeah, not in open.
A motion to approve Carl Delmata, girls varsity swim assistant, step 1 of the extracurricular index of the WCBTA bargaining agreement effective 2023-24 school year. Janine first, Ed second, all in favor. Motion to appoint substitute Emily Ingalls, substitute teacher, assistant monitor aide K-12 for the district approved rate sheet effective September 1st, 2023. Sarah first, Janine second, all in favor. Motion to appoint Krista Cosmo, substitute teacher, teacher assistant monitor aide K-12 for the district approved rate sheet effective September 1st, 2023. Elisa first, Sarah second, all in favor? Motion to approve Emily Perkins, substitute teacher, teacher assistant, monitor aide, K through 12 for the district approved rate sheet effective September 1st, 2023. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor? Okay, the tax levy, a motion to approve the tax levy this year's amount of $5,242,144. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor? First up on the discussion items is the capital project.
Okay, so in front of you, I handed out tonight the update of the capital project as we see it now. I want to talk a little bit about where we're at this point in time and some of the potential decisions you want to make moving forward because of the way the project has gone, basically. So as you look at the top of that, I put on the top here, they have the schedule of it. I want to make sure that everybody understands we're doing really well right now. We are on schedule with all aspects of the project right now. So there has been nothing to hold us up. We had a little bit of Department of Health stuff on Friday, but we got that through so we could get the water flipped over on the weekend. But other than that, all of our asbestos removal is complete. That went well. We had cafeteria and a little bit downstairs, all done, and they're out of here already. And the actual work that we're doing, continues to remain as scheduled with that. Underneath that, you'll see the updated schedule of items that will be done during the school year, just so you know what isn't anticipated to either start or be finished by the start of the school year. The auditorium lighting on the stage, that's going to be done over Christmas break into January for a couple reasons. One is product delays, and those product delays would carry us into the fall musical season and the Christmas concert season. So, kind of worked for both of us in this sense to get that in over the Christmas break, let that all play through, let them do the musical, let the Christmas concerts take place, and then we'll do the flop of the stage lighting. The health and wellness lighting will be done sometime between October 1st and November 1st, and the gym lighting will be done sometime between October 1st and November 1st as well. So that'll be, once indoor sports, all that lighting will be completed at that time. Underneath that, you'll see some potential ads. I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a few minutes here. Auditorium finishes, carpeting, and those kinds of things we're looking at over the Christmas break as well. And the bus garage lighting, if approved, we'll move that ahead into October and November. Other potential ads are the pool finishes, the pool painting, what's what they call the sound baffles that are on the top, and so forth that are in there, and then the painting in the elementary stairwell, and so forth. So I want to stop there for a second. Because things have gone well, we're on schedule, and financially all the contingency money and the extra money that is put into the project itself in the event things don't go as planned, we haven't had any missteps, which is really good. So what that means, as I've talked about before the project, is some of these alternates that we've approved along the way, are getting completed, and the ones we haven't been able to approve, we're going to be able to approve today. The only thing after tonight, if we approve the alternates that are left tonight, that would be left would be the lighting auditorium house lights, which was low on our priority list. So basically everything that we have proposed in this project to go forward with the alternates, because the money is available to do that, if we approve those alternates tonight, will be done, and you'll still have some money left to do some things. Okay, so all of that's really, really good news. Those are things you hope for. You hope for there's no snags and all those kinds of things that go on with that. So I want to talk just briefly about the pool before I get into anything else here. So the pool itself, and at some point when we do our tour at the end of the month, you'll get a look at this as we walk through. It's really amazing kind of to look at this point in time. So if you go downstairs below the pool right now, when this is all said and done underneath the pool, all the original stuff that was down there, original, that was down there. Some of it's got clamps on it, it's a whole bunch of different things. Will be like you just installed it. It's all brand new plumbing, tanks are new, the water systems are new. It'll be like you just built brand new down there. So you're going to be in great shape. We'll talk a little bit more about the pool concerns in this little plan here. There's other pool concerns that need to be done, but if we get through this and you do have the money to do this, with the exception of the actual pool room, the pool flooring, tiles and things like that, if everything's completed, you essentially just rebuild your whole pool. So, you're in really good shape with that. I'll get back to that in a minute though. So down on the bottom of this project update, you'll see, some discussion about the cafeteria, all right? The cafeteria flooring, and I'm talking about the high school cafeteria at this time, has some aging flooring that really can't, be replaced in there. There isn't matching replacement for it. The other thing is, up in the front by the windows, there is some dipping going on there in the flooring that's there. They're pretty confident it's nothing major in there. But as you'll see the cafeteria and everything they got that's been done on the ceilings, everything, the walls painted and the ceilings all redone, and everything that's in there, because you have money available to address that potentially right now, this may be an opportunity for you to address that sinking area that's in the front and get brand new tile that's a little bit more modern and appealing in there going forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we get to the approvals after. I don't have a quote or anything on that just yet, which, because we're just getting that information, but now that we're updating our budgets and things like that, these are things that, for me, I'm looking to present to you of things that I think, if we have money, these are things to take care of right now. And that's really been the focus of this entire project. Anything that we can see that's gonna make this place last long after I'm gone is what I'm looking at right now. So this is one of those things that's there. You'll see in there the recommendation for that is to do a little bit of excavating outside, to check on, make sure everything's situated with the footer out in front of the building on that. And then, sort of create a leveling surface underneath that before fix and remedy that situation, and then retile those floors that are in there. If we are able to get prices and approval on those quickly, they believe, because the workers are on site right now, we can get that done before the start of school. So that'll play into my discussion in a little bit here as we go through. I don't have a cost for that just yet, otherwise it would be on the approvals for tonight. Gets us down a little bit further to the pool concerns on page 2. And I'll just the pool jets and the clogging of them is pretty remarkable that we're even running that pool. So there are 24 jets in that pool. 6 of them maybe, at best, were actually functioning. So we've got a whole issue with jets being clogged. Again, this is all original things that are inside of this pool. The drains on the bottom, we're working at about 15% on the bottom. And the main drains, they couldn't get the camera through, let's put it that way, to even see. So we've got jets and drains and issues with this that are not necessarily part of the scope in the beginning. So you'll see on the 3rd page of this, the recommendation is to get in there and get those addressed. And that's definitely my recommendation as well. You're doing all this work to the pool. I don't think the pool functions unless we get the jets going with all the new pumps and water and the drains, and that's not something that you want to lead. So, and you have money in the project to do that. So you're addressing the pool. These are the concerns. These are done in change orders, which are not a big deal. You don't have to do anything with that tonight. But I did want to let you know that as they go through that work, I'll probably approve all of those and move forward with the rest of your pool work so that that's all complete. We're basically ready to start that too, right? Yeah. So that's the other thing. So they can get started on that. We're still hoping with the pool to be ready by early September. So it looks, and I talked to Mr. Doherty a little while ago about this, looks like we'll have to start with a little bit of a partnership with HCCC with our pool for the practices and some things. We'll work to see with the schedule how that plays into it. But if things go as planned and we get the water up and running and approved and all those kinds of things, I'll conservatively say by the end of September, you'll be into the pool, so we'll give them at least part of the season in our own pool. Now they're telling me it could be earlier than that, so I'm gonna say, let's see, I plan on not September, but but we'll see. Could be quicker than that if things go well. And H-Triple, I believe, Mr. Doherty is on board with us, supporting us, so we'll be okay. We'll just have to make some adjustments till we get that situated. So that's really the update. The last page I have, and it has the highlights on it in front of you, if you can, it's a separate piece of paper I gave you, are the areas of the extra work that we have. You'll see yellow highlights on it and the motions that would go through this. And I want to just take you through this situation here. So these are all alternates that were already bid and are out there. We just didn't accept anything yet because we didn't know if we would have money to do that. Okay, so we accepted some of the alternates, we didn't done those. Now we know we have money, so we're continuing on through the alternate list to approve. So you'll see the general construction alternate 1 and the auditorium finishes for Priori in the amount of $70,000. The pool finishes in the amount of $68,000. The elementary stairwell painting in the amount of $16,000. The electrical with the bus garage lighting replacement in the amount of $44,500. So those are all the 4 alternates. Like I said, the only alternate that would be left on the whole thing is the house lighting, which we wouldn't be able to do anyway in there. So and it's not a 911 for use of house lighting in the auditorium anyway. So you're getting your stage lighting and all that. Now the last one is where you know, and I'm good with however you want to do this. The last motion on there is related to the cafeteria flooring and the structural concerns. What I'm looking for here, for timing purposes, is to potentially approve me to give the go-ahead to do that work in that cafeteria once I have that price. Obviously, if it's not in the price range or not in the range that we can afford, I'm not going to do that. But any sort of delay to me doing that, if I can speed that up, I can get that cafeteria maybe done by September. If we don't do it that way, we wait, bring it back, discuss, you know, what's probably going to happen is you're going to be looking at some sort of break time work here later in the year. So what I'll look for in that last motion, as it says, is to approve on behalf of all of you the proposed repairs to the cafeteria flooring and any structural concerns utilizing the funding from the current capital project. So that's where we're at with it. So you're in really good shape. If you approve all these, like I said, we are, you know, and then we finish up the pool work and the timing, we're, you know, knock on wood because of time left, but right now, as of August 7th, we're going pretty smooth with this.
I just have a question
Yes,
about
ma'am.
that. So the pool jets
Yep.
that were clogged.
Yep.
Do we know what to do preventatively from this point? Like,
Yeah.
why did they, okay.
Part of it's because they're from the original built, the old jet.
Okay.
Yeah, so over time they corrode and do some different things, and there's a lot of them. And so the pool gets inspected and approved, and it probably was circulating it enough to keep it rolling. I don't know how it was, but we have state pool inspectors that come in. So,
Right.
you know, we did enough keeping the chlorine flowing and doing that and the testing to keep it rolling. But it's,
Part of it maybe because of water, we didn't have water softeners.
yeah.
Hard water, they have
We didn't have softeners for the first 30 years the pool was
Okay.
there.
I see.
The first 20 or 25 years of that pool, there was no regulations on anybody checking as far as the balance or the corrosive level or anything either on those pools. So all that added to it long before there started to be inspection parts of it. And our pool is old enough where everything was grandfathered in. So that's one of the other things you gotta look at too.
Yeah. Very good point. So, you know, I think, yes, being educated on pool operation going forward is really important. The maintenance of the pool is really important, but I think the new equipment and plumbing that's put in also assists with that, including the fact that, you know, we won't see as much corrosion and things like that in there, but, yeah. So who knows what it's doing down there, Clyde. So, yeah. But you got a lot of years of that, so.
I have a question about the cafeteria flooring.
Yeah.
Is it just in the seating area or in the kitchen?
So no, it's in the seating area. So if you walk into the cafeteria to face toward the glass, to the front right, toward the front of the building, there's a slight, you wouldn't notice it just by looking in there, but you'll see there's a slight dip right at the front of the building, right in that front corner. You can see it a little bit with the wall and then a little bit on the flooring. It hasn't really cracked the tile yet, it just dipped it.
Separating that where they're
Yeah.
put together.
Yeah, so there's an issue underneath there. The architects are looking at it, and so is the project manager. They don't think it's major, they think it's a fairly easy sort of repair that we can get. And then, you know, we're probably in need of some upgrade to the tile in there too, so those could kind of combine in, and we have the money to do that. So I think that's a good use of the money that's in the project. You know, kind of try to stay, and that's another thing through this, trying to stay in the areas that you're working on to finish them. A lot of times we do things and we don't finish the job in the specific area, and we're doing all these things, but nothing ever gets finished. So this would be one thing, I think, feel better if we got that issue corrected, and get, you know, your tile upgraded. Essentially, that cafeteria will be brand new as well.
So if we approved all of these things, how much would it be in our budget?
Yeah, so we're looking at least $100-something thousand left.
After.
Yeah, still left after all of this stuff, the upgrades, still
Not
finished.
including the cafeteria.
Yeah. So, yeah, and there potentially could be, depends on how this goes out, there could be some more. But this is where we're at, you just keep going, because there's money that's still held in case something goes on. This is money that they know they can free up right now. So,
So the estimate that he has on the last page is kind of high.
that's what it
The
is.
cost.
Yeah, yeah, 130, yep, with all that jet streams, all new lines, everything, yeah. Yeah, they've got some pretty good work to do there. They're not even completely sure how they're gonna get that opened up yet, pulled out of there, but. So just for discussion purposes too, you know, Kelly and I met with this, I wanted to make sure this didn't impact, because that trumps some of the other things I have for alternate approvals tonight, so I didn't want that to impact. Cause I'd say, we'll hold on to the rest of these alternates until we get the pool finished, so it's up and running. So it does us no good to put all this money in if we're running jets and rain, but that's not impacting, so we're comfortable. Yeah, we're comfortable with approving the alternates plus the work that will get done in there. Any other questions on the capital project? Anything, I'm trying to send you some pictures of some things. Like I said, there's not a lot of exciting pictures. They're coming tomorrow with the crane to lift the unit up on. You can see out the window there if you want to look where it's all flagged off. So your dehumidification unit's going up there on that roof tomorrow for the pool. Are they coming to pour the cement pad for the fuel tank tomorrow too?
I'm remembering.
Okay, so that's the other, the fuel tanks. Fuel tanks went in and out. You know, you had a really old fuel tank that looked really, really good, just so you know. So they don't make it like they used to, I guess. So, how you could say it. So, agree with that, Felix?
Oh, yeah.
Look kind of brand new, right, coming out. Hate to say that because it's past its expiration date, but it must have, back in the day, you must have put a good fuel tank in there. But it still was, but all that went really well, and we're set up and running, and all that's left is the pad and the other pump, right?
Did you put these pictures on the website?
Those are the newest ones I've gotten, so I haven't yet, so I'll do another update to the website with some of the new pictures, probably this week sometime. Yep. Any other questions on the project at this point? Any concern about the approvals before I have Ms. Spartan go through them? So you can run those.
Okay, motion to approve the capital improvement general construction alternate number 1 auditorium finishes in the amount of $70,000 to J. Priori Construction Company Incorporated. Elisa first, Ed second, and all in favor. Okay. Motion to approve the capital improvement general construction alternate number 3 pool finishes in the amount of $68,000 to J. Priori Construction Company Incorporated. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor. A motion to approve the capital improvement general construction alternate number 4 elementary school stairwell painting in the amount of $16,000 to J. Priori Construction Company Incorporated. Sarah first, at second, all in favor. Motion to approve the capital improvement electrical construction alternate number 4 bus garage lighting replacement in the amount of $44,500 to SC Spencer Electric Incorporated. Janine first, Ed second, all in favor. A motion to authorize Superintendent Shepherdson to approve on behalf of the board proposed repairs to the cafeteria flooring and structural concerns utilizing funding from the current capital project. Janine first, Elisa second, all in favor. And you. Okay, we are on to discussing the mascot.
So, I'll throw in the muscle again. So Mrs. Bartlett asked me to put the mascot topic and transition onto the agenda for tonight. So I wanted to sort of introduce sort of the next phase of your discussion in terms of where we go from here with West Cannon Valley, and whether we go a different direction with the new mascot and what that would be, and the process in which that would go. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my thoughts on that process if you wish to go forward with it, and I can help at least in the beginning here get this started on Mr. Broadbent and our other administrators. But I just want you to think about a few things, and then I'll kind of open it up again for discussion on some of these things. I think some of the important things that you want to make sure as you're going through any sort of big time change that the school's going through is to create a sense of ownership to this whole thing as a community. So that in the end, even if everybody doesn't agree with the decision of the school and where it goes with it, at least everybody felt that they had a say and a part in the whole thing. And I kind of put together sort of a list of people to think about. Obviously, your current students that are in this building are the people that are involved with it as we speak. They're going to want to be a part of this whole thing for sure. Your alumni, obviously people that have graduated from this and hold so much pride to the district, you're going to want to give them opportunity to have some input in terms of the direction in which the district goes with that. Your faculty and staff that's here, your administration, your board, everybody that's in this room. And I think the bigger thing is, in the end, a committee that's kind of going to drive this process as you go through, so it doesn't always look like it's from the top down. So if it were me here, I wouldn't want this process to look like Mr. Shepherdson deciding who the new mascot is on his own. And whoever your new superintendent is not going to want, definitely not going to want that. So, those are sort of things. So as you go through the planning, I think about a few different things, your guiding themes and your connections to the district. So as people, as you go through any sort of process, I'm going to pick on one of the local districts that merged together, and they had to build a new school at CBA and come up with a new mascot and all that, not because of the same reasons we are here, but they're going through that process. They wanted to bring two districts together to come up with a name and go through a process that's associated with that, so that everybody felt to be a part of that. And you want I think most districts want to have some sort of connection to their mascot and how it's part of their school itself and what they call themselves and the history of the school and those kinds of things. So again, those are some things to think about as you're doing that. Do you want to be something that's unique? We were the Indians here forever. A lot of districts were that. So sometimes we try to say, when you change names, you're like, oh, I want to be something different than everybody else. When the fact of the matter is, a lot of schools have the same names. So, I'm just throwing just because you might want to be Spartans, and I'm just throwing it out. There's other districts in the state that are Spartans, you know what I mean? So those are just kind of variables, or do you want to have something that's unique? And one of the things I want to caution everybody about as you move forward is the whole trademark piece of this whole thing. So you need to be careful. Certain names hold exclusive trademarks to things. There's a district I may have mentioned this to you in New York State that got themselves into some trouble. Picked their mascot, did a whole announcement thing, and never took that into account, and then got their letter to say that you can't use this name because we're sole owners of this name. So most of them are not, but there are some that are out.
Remember what that was, so we can rule it right out?
I believe it might have been like River Rats or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, we don't have to worry about that.
So, yeah, I think there was some unique to something. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's something with that. And then, the other thing is the decisions. When it comes down to it, who's going to be part of that decision? Is it going to be, are you going to have people voting, students and staff? Are you going to have a public vote on options? Are you going to do a poll and see where that is? Is the board going to take all the input into consideration and make a decision as a board on that? And I'm giving you all these options because everybody's done all of these things with different places. And it depends on your district and how you feel you want to go about doing that. I think my one recommendation would be, the first phase of that would be to come together and develop a committee across groups here, whether it's board members and some kids, administration, faculty, staff, some community members, and get everybody together in a room like this and have some discussion, because there's people that are creative and understand things and processes and that you might think of and say that's a good idea. I will be the first to tell you that that's a weakness, and I'm not. Like, I can't pick paint colors out, and I can't get creative about including everybody. So, you know, so you want people that are involved. Like, you've got people that are probably doing drawings and things like that and thinking about this, and they're out there and how they want to go about it. And you know, in the end, whether you're happy this is going on or not, or whatever it is, it ends up being what it is, and you want to make the best of that situation and get something that everyone's happy with moving forward. So, you know, my recommendation would be to start probably in the fall here, put some sort of committee together to have some meetings and start to brainstorm that sort of process and how we're going to include people. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Surveys, you can bring people in, you can have the committee narrow choices down, you can, I mean, there's been public votes on it, there has been, but you don't have to do that. So that's what I have for your recommendations. You know, it'll take some work, it's gonna take some time, it's not something you're gonna do in a month. And you want the process to be thorough, almost like you're hiring somebody new to be the new person left, you know what I mean? So with that, Jess, I don't know, you know, that's kind of what I
I just
had on
wanted
it.
to kind of solidify what you all think the process should be, so we could move forward. We talked about it a few times, so now.
How do we
it's
get it
time
out
to-
there to people, you wanna be part of it, how do we get it out there is what I wanna know.
Yeah, I can use, we have a system that Parent Square, have flyers, Facebook, all of that, we can get a lot of that information out fairly quickly.
So yeah, so if we're talking about in-house, we have a number of different tools with people that are involved right at the school. Well, let's say, for example, Mr. Schatzel, you don't have anybody, like, how would we get it to you? So I get that through newsletters, things like that, post it on the website, you know, do some of that. Maybe sometimes we'll get out to local places, like stewards and things like that, and put some flyers out that'll say, hey, if you wanna offer some input or be a part of the process, like, you know, call Mrs. Sheets over at the office. Yeah, so.
My concern is going to be, 100 people are gonna wanna be on this committee, so how do you narrow it down?
Yeah, so really carefully, when you're talking about who would like to participate, you know, you make it pretty clear that we're looking to develop, you know, a number in terms of your committee, and we're looking to touch various groups. So we're gonna have administrators, we're gonna have this many students across, you know, involved in it, we're going to have this many community members and alumni, you know, those kinds of things as you get that committee together and so forth. So, listen, I'm giving you also the complicated process here, to basically touch base with as many people. Some school districts just simply send out and do some surveys and offer a period of public comment on it, okay? And then once you get the public comment on it, then you take that public comment, use it as part of it, develop your committee, and then keep everything right in-house with the students and staff and the board, and make a decision and make the announcement, you know, and go through the process, and maybe at the end have 2 finalists and have people, you know, include the people that can vote on it and cast your vote and go forward, and then make, you know, a big celebratory announcement of what it's gonna be and move on from there. So, you know, you can go as far as making this a complete community event with public vote, or you can sort of shrink it down and have a public comment period and get that information, as Mr. Schatzel said, how to get it out, and get that out there. Take them 30 days to get a public comment on it, and we're gonna be moving forward, and let us know your input on it, and, you know, pick out the things that you think are valuable inputs, and have a committee review it, get the committee together while that's going on, and, you know, in-house people, board members, and say, we're gonna do this together and get this done. You know, so there's a lot of different ways, it just depends on how extended you wanna go with this. So if you want me to get it out there, want us to get it out there and get it out publicly and ask for public comment input till a certain date and get a gathering to them and bring that information back to the board and then go from there, we can do that to get things started if you want to.
Like you did with the superintendent questions?
Very similar to that.
What would your mascot?
Yep. very similar. It'll
And
get you started.
See where
and-
the responses and.
Yep.
And I think a public vote, because I think so many people around here are so passionate about that.
Mhm.
And I think having a public vote about it would be, I think that's what we're about it.
Could be, so
Yeah,
maybe,
we narrowed it down to like
maybe-
so many different
Right.
options.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The two are the most popular and then, oh,
We'd have the kids narrow it down.
Well, they can be included in it.
yeah, they could, I think, and I'd have to ask all the legal pieces, but I don't think that would require your formal, they could be counted as once in the process too.
Well, if they're part of, we have a couple students as part of the committee.
Mhm.
And the committee just narrows it down to.
so we're gonna start that now with.
Yeah, so I
okay.
can work, Mr. Broadbent doesn't know this, but I'll work with him on this, and, we'll get some things out, and get sort of that survey out, get some tool to gather information, and we've done a bunch of those recently for mandatory reasons, and we'll get that and start to gather some information for the next 30 days, and, and then by, let's say, if we start it now, by end of September, October meeting or so, you'll have some input we can look at, go from there.
Can you put something in the newsletter?
Yeah, I'll get something out that it's, if I don't have it ready, but it'll be out there, I'll get it out in the newsletter, and that's getting posted. So I'll include that piece on there and go from there, yep.
I think I've mentioned this before and a couple other things, but I worry about too, like, older folks may not know how to like log on and do that kind of thing. Is
Yep.
there anywhere we could put like a Dropbox that you could stop by
Yep.
and drop in?
So I can do some hard copy thing. If I get some things in the newsletter for you, I can get them to return to the Dropbox in the district office to use the Dropbox.
Text box up there.
Oh, we can't do that yet. Yeah, that's right,
We
yeah.
got
But they could
we can
return,
put a separate
they could
box
mail
out
it or
there.
drop it off at the district office.
And if everyone would think that's a good idea, maybe not.
Yeah, yeah, they could do it on there,
You
yeah,
want
yep.
somebody to double dip though, so they get one idea.
Right, they're gonna have,
You're-
you'd have to have a
So-
form with their name and address and.
So a couple
Yeah.
things on that. Yes, you're not gonna be able to control all that, so there's gonna be people that are gonna write stuff,
Mhm.
So you'll just kinda gather and summarize overall picture of that, so, what I mean? It's not a vote, it's just an input on it, so.
And with like Google Forms and stuff like that, you can make it so only one submission per email address. So I mean, if they're creating multiple email addresses, you might be able to.
How would you do that for a married couple then? They should both have a right to vote.
If they had separate
Two
email
different email
addresses,
addresses.
we could do it.
Yeah, two.
Can we put something where they would have to put their name on it, or are we
They
keeping
can,
it?
he can control it, like.
Yeah, I can require email address. I can
Or
require
what you're
name.
saying,
only thing I would-
somebody could create 100 email
Yeah.
addresses. and
So the only thing I would
stuff.
say with the name piece of it, you wanna be
Right,
careful, you wanna just
yeah.
kinda keep it, cause
No.
people will be more forthcoming
Right, exactly.
with just input on that, so,
And we
I'm
could,
just thinking Karen and her husband, if they only have one email for the family,
yeah.
she can vote and he can't send in.
and we could correlate data
I have
without
4
the
emails,
names.
so.
Yeah,
They'll be voting 4 times.
And I have no husband.
So as long as that's started, I feel
Yeah,
like
so
people
we'll-
will start to feel a little
Yep,
better.
so I'll
about
try to
it.
get that started in the next, couple weeks here, get that started kind of as our kickoff in the school, and then maybe have it, for the 30 days in September to start school year and things like that. Okay,
Thanks.
everybody's
Was
good
the
with that?
logo been painted over on the gym floor?
What's that?
Was the logo,
Yeah, that was removed, yep, plain and purple.
when was that done?
When we refinished the floors,
Was that,
we had to redo the floors for the summer, like we do every summer for the annual, yep,
did anybody take a picture of that?
yeah, they did,
Cause I would like 2 copies for the history centers.
yep, yep. So, yeah, I don't, 2 pictures of them actually painting it.
No, I want to see any.
Yeah, we probably have a picture of that. I'd have to look, I'll have to look for that.
You'd recommend.
I know I have pictures of it. I'll be able to get something. Yep.
Okay, good on that?
Yep.
Okay, we have the 2023 safety plan. Are you
Okay.
gonna talk about that?
Yeah, just a little bit. So this will be something, at the end of August, when we have our August 28th meeting, you'll have a whole bunch of our annual plans that we'll approve. So this is posted on our website for public comment. It's required to be there for anybody who has any comment. As everybody knows, this is the summary that's been part of our board in the past for the new members. This is the summary of the safety plan. This does not contain the confidential material that's associated with that. That's this big, thick packet here that we have that's within house school, that the emergency response. And there's some very confidential information in there because of the emergency situation, evacuation things and protocols and things like that. That's stuff that's not, by law, basically out for public view on that. So really what we approve going forward on the safety plan that's on our website right now, which is what you have here, takes you through all of the different guidance in terms of who's on this committee for our safety committee that's here that meets together to discuss the safety plan throughout the year, and then all the required pieces of the safety plan, the situational responses, the emergency responses through that. And again, this is a public document, you can keep this, gives you all the information. If there's any public comment on it, or if there's anything that needs to be, changed or tweaked in this, Karen and I update this every year. We usually have a committee meeting in the beginning to review all of this, to make sure everybody's set. We have mandatory training on the first 2 days, one of those first 2 days for the entire staff that takes place with all these safety plans and protocols and lockdown drills and things like that. And then obviously there's a whole section in here on virus response and things that got added to this last year, a few years back. The cleaning and the sanitizing and all the things that are part of all this, and you can kind of flip through all of the different pieces and essential employees. So all of this information in this packet, if you've had a chance to kind of skim through it, is detailed out. Each of those sections is detailed out in that big confidential packet, which is available in the event that we have an unfortunate emergency that we need to handle in an emergency response. So at the end of the month, once the public comment period's over and prior to September 1st, because we have that meeting already scheduled, we'll approve, this will be on for approval, it's up for public comment, and any discussion that the board has at this point in time on our safety plans.
And then you'll have to update it after the first.
Um,
Ron, you'll have to.
So, yeah, so you'll have, yes. So I've got the people that are currently in place here, yes. So, yes, you can, to be official, you'd have to plug in the new names in there. So just kind of make your editorial updates to the plan. Yeah, correct. If you hire whoever your new principal. Any other questions on that tonight?
We adopt this?
Yeah, after we want to.
Yes.
I'm okay, is that done at 11:30? Yes. Adopt the policy. Policy manual and the code of conduct as presented.
Okay. A motion to approve the 20,
Nope,
Oh.
we'll approve it then. That was just-
oh,
that
I'm
was
sorry, I thought
discussion.
we were approving it tonight.
Nope,
Okay,
cancel,
perfect.
we gotta wait for the public comment.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right, we have the Board of Education goals.
So, in your packet are your goals that must be approved annually. We will approve these, at the end of the month as well, in August, but I wanted to give you your draft of what your goals have been, in terms of the Board of Education. For those of you that are new, what typically happens here is this guides your school year as to things you want to see happen in the school district for that school year. And generally, your superintendent will align his or her goals to the board goals so that they're blended and working together. They may not be exactly the same, but they'll blend together so that administration, your superintendent, your school district is working to meet the same goals as the board has. Now, typically, you've taken the approach, some boards get really specific about things for the year, which you can do. And some boards, like ours here, have taken a more overarching approach to things that are going on, which cover year-to-year type things. So quite often we keep these things the same because we feel these are our overarching goals that we want to see continued and maintained for the upcoming school year. but there can be adjustments to that, and that's solely up to all of you in here as to where you wanna go. So, hopefully you got a chance to kind of read through those. Once they're adopted, they're posted on the website, so for anybody to view what the board goals are for that year. And your superintendent will align, his or her goals to these, board goals. So, with that being said, is there any discussion or questions or anything at this point in time we wanna look at changing in terms of this, or any sort of updates that want to be made to this? If there's not, you'll have an opportunity to kind of review them a little bit more, and then we'll bring it back on the 28th, for final look over and then approval.
Do you remember the last time we updated, a couple of years ago?
A couple of years ago, you tweaked these a little bit.
Okay.
For the most part, the general overarching plan has been kind of how this is going with that. But yes, I think there was one update maybe in the middle of the year in terms of what you guys.
Anything to add to our goals, or we? Okay, guess we're good.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, we have the following announcements. August 28th, 2023, we have a meeting at 6 PM. In here.
We got one at 4:30.
Yeah, so yes, the general meeting for everybody will start at 6.
Right.
But there will be, just kind of look out, we'll probably post a special meeting executive starting at 4:30 that night, which will go right into executive session for the purpose of reviewing and supervising session.
Okay.
Okay?
September 11th, 2023 will be our regular board meeting at 6 PM. Public comments? No public comments. Motion to enter executive session for the appointment of personnel matters, including review and appointment of employees and contract negotiations. Janine first, Sarah second, all in favor?